Hello, today for review I've got first ddHiFi in-ear monitors and the debut model named Janus. It's named after the ancient Romanian god of beginnings, and that god is famous for having two faces. Why it has a relation to this model you will see later. Or probably you've seen the announcement of this model and you already know what's the deal here. Anyway, it's a really interesting model. It's actually single dynamic driver and it's priced about $200, but ddHiFi did their best to deliver as much value as possible with these in-ear monitors, and probably they will get more attention in the nearest future. Anyway, I don't think I need to talk more, so let's proceed to the unboxing and review. Package is done in the ddHiFi traditional style. You can see it's made of recycled cardboard. Model name here, and we can see that included is Janus itself, also forest cable and leather case. These earphones available from their AliExpress store. I will add links to the description, but also you can get a few different bundles with their different adapters and other accessories. And inside there are two parts. One is the case. Almost all parts of accessory set of these earphones are also available as a separate purchase. And short manual printed on the recycled paper too. So did they print here technical specifications? No, I don't see, but need to take a look a bit later. So what's in this box? In this box we will have the separately packaged warranty card and cable. Let's unpack it. You can see that cable is pretty unusual. Recently they've announced a few different cables. I actually got a few additional accessories that I will review probably in separate video. First I thought about making a single review, but then I decided to focus in this video on the earphones themselves and then do the separate review for accessories. You can get nice magnet clip for easy cable management, really good accessory also. It's also sold separately, nice and firm hold. And also bit unusual case, but actually ddHiFi does anything in a bit unusual way. You can see it opens two ways here. So you will get earpieces themselves, two set of tips, different bass type and treble type, so we've seen them before. Also MMCX whole dust cover, and that's it. So what's the deal here? You can see that it's the world first earphones with dual connectors, so you can use the 2-pin cable or you can use MMCX here. Also they implemented special acoustic treatment with dual cavities. So here is the dynamic driver. I'm not sure will it be visible on video, but it's here, and there is a lot of vent holes in front of the driver, so it has open free air space in front and at the back side too. It looks pretty stylish, unusual, but really interesting. It's small, so it will fit probably to almost any ears. You can wear it cable down or over the ear, so you can use it whatever you like. Build quality, of course, is pretty nice. It reminds ddHiFi adapters. I think they should release limited gold version somewhere soon, as they did with their adapters. And here is the stock cable, so let's try to plug it. How we can distinguish left from right. I don't see any marking here. Probably I'm missing something. We'll need to take a look. So let's connect them randomly for now. So left and right. Nice, good click, while holding pretty good MM6 connectors. So sound isolation is about average, but it will be enough for public transport or to wear them on somewhere on the busy street, so it will be okay in this aspect. So it's pretty easy to distinguish left and right earpiece because right is marked with red color, but I need to find how to distinguish the oh, here it is. Actually, here are the letters, so this one is right and this one is left, so accidentally I guessed in the correct way. So cable itself, average in terms of softness, but it looks durable and feels pretty durable. Low microphonic effect. It's not getting hard when it's cold outside, or actually getting just a little bit. And it's actually just braided down to the jack, so basic and simple in terms of design, but actually ddHiFi promised a high quality materials and high purity copper here. So as you can see, accessory set, package and unboxing experience is done on a really high level, as usual, as you can expect from the company. And of course about the sound, they don't require lengthy burn-in, but actually first few hours of listening their sound were changing, so if you purchase them, give them about 10 hours of burn-in. After 10 hours sound was settled. I gave them additional 30 hours of break-in, but after that sound didn't change. So it's single dynamic drivers and it's pretty rare beast nowadays. In this price range it's more expectable to see some hybrid in-ear monitors or multi-balanced armatures or even tri-breeds. But here ddHiFi decided to go their own way and created even a bit unusual sound. I actually tested a beta version of these earphones and based on the feedback, ddHiFi tuned their sound. And probably I was not the only one who suggested to reduce amount of treble in the beta version. And actually they created a pretty neutral model without emphasis on both ends. I haven't seen their frequency response chart, but they're not sounding like typical modern earphones. And they could be probably monitoring, but ddHiFi decided to add also here a bit of warmth and make their sound more organic and more engaging. So let's have some player on the table and let's talk about the sound. Actually, yet another ddHiFi product. You know, I really admire ddHiFi because it's the true spirit of entrepreneurship. It's the company that started as a creator of simple accessories and now they're releasing pretty complex products, both in terms of design and in terms of manufacturing. For example, here they've implemented flexible PCB, and you can see that instead of wires inside from sockets, it goes some kind of flexible PCBs with pretty wide conducting strands on them. So really interesting to see, not only in terms of exterior design but also interior. I think that's why they made part of these earphones transparent. You know, so lot of analogs that they remind some old light bulbs, some electronic valves, and of course DD own adapters too. Anyway, let's go back to the sound. Actually, they also not super sensitive, but their sound can be changed using different wires. And I have another cable by the ddHiFi, but it will be a subject of my next review. So today I will talk about this stock one. And let's proceed step by step. So bass here is not accented. It has good body, it has good impact, but no familiar accent. So basically it's not a bass head model, not the model for those who like typical elevated low frequencies. But at the same time, such tuning gives a lot of interesting impressions, because usually such natural low frequencies are more typical for the balanced armatures and sounding drier. But here you will get really good detalization, but still dynamic driver type of low frequencies, meaning additional slam, meaning additional impact, and also meaning pretty good depth. At the same time, don't expect like super rumbling and super big bodied low frequencies, so probably it's not the model created for overwhelming listener with bass, but at the same time it's really natural and really well balanced and really well tuned for the real acoustic instruments like low notes on fortepiano, some big brass instruments, acoustic double bass and all that other stuff. Big drums also sounding pretty impressive here. So it's the model for those who prefer more organic and more natural representation over the accented low frequencies. Electronic music sounding also normal for me, because I prefer quality over quantity. But I think that those who like such music will prefer more bass accent. And as an example, I've got great example, and it's Pain of Salvation, Falling Home. I use this album from time to time as a reference point because it's a great band doing the unplugged version of their, and not only their songs, but doing unplugged versions, and they have nice acoustic bass here, pretty powerful and impressive, and these earphones represent it really nicely with a good amount of details. Mids are also fairly balanced, and they have normal resolution, but they are not focused on the micro detalization. They have a bit of additional warmth, but at the same time they're not sounding muffled, they're not sounding too bloated or too slow. So basically they're not doing focus on the micro detalization, but resolution is nice. And a bit of warmth, meaning a bit of additional body for the instruments, for the vocals, especially male ones, and a bit more organic and analog representation. They are not super critical for the quality of records, but at the same time they're not trying to mask something or to highlight. So basically what you will give them, you will get back with a bit of additional weight, of course. They're not trying to highlight macro dynamics like some other dynamic driver models tend to do, but sounding really coherent. And the imaginary stage is above average. It's not super huge because of added worms. For me, usually added worms on mids, meaning a bit more intimate representation, but still it's above average and it's a good result. I think it's because of open nature of this driver, lot of air in front of the transducer and behind transducer, and gives nice amount of presence and three-dimensional positioning. And as an example, for the mid frequencies, I've got actually not audiophiliac record, but the track that I simply liked with these earphones. I listened to different styles and genres, and Rammstein Du Hast sounding pretty nicely. with good balance, thanks to not accented low frequencies, drums are not dominating over the guitars, and also because of normal treble, this synthesizer signature riff sounding not super forward and not laid back, so just in the perfect amount. So pretty engaging representation of super engaging music, super energetic music. And treble. So they made treble more polite comparing with beta version of tuning, and probably it's a good news. They're not sounding sharp, they're not sounding sibilant. Actually, if you prefer a bit more forward treble, there are vocal tips that will accent upper mids and treble. If you like, you can get a bit more treble here, but I like this tuning with bass tips, and actually pay close attention to attention to details they show. They put two color stem tips in the accessory set, so you can get the red one for the right earpiece and the black one for the left earpiece. Even that is done, or maybe it was some error during the final completion, but I think it's done on purpose because other tips also have two colors. So treble is not accented, but it has nice presence. Extension is average. They decided not to do super extended treble to suit more the modern music, and that means that they won't be super picky for the quality of mastering on the treble here. And it's typical balanced armatures, sounding natural, pretty organic, with a bit slower attacks and decays, but with normal resolution and nice overtone saturation. Layering is basic, but it's normal for this type, for this price tier and for this type of drivers. And as an example for the treble, it's Led Zeppelin, Moby Dick, and of course track first of all is known for the drum solo and lot of percussion, all that crashes, cymbals and guitars at the beginning. They all goes pretty high to the treble domain, and these earphones sounding pretty organic with that. So to summarize this sound, unusual tuning, not forwarded treble and bass, and at the same time they're not monitoring because of added worms on the mids, and also nice resolution on the whole sonic spectrum. Speaking about the sources, probably something starting with I don't know, Heidi's AP80 for example, and up to Shenling M6 Pro and FIO M11 Pro is their target range. They don't require something super powerful. I still didn't find their specs, but actually I have to turn the volume higher than average, so probably they're not super easy to drive. We'll do some additional experiments later. Actually, I'm using balanced out here. Speaking about the conversions, I didn't test many dynamic driver models recently, just NF Audio and M2, but NM2 is more focused on the micro contrast, more monitoring, sounding more natural with more resolution, but at the same time colder with more treble, with a bit tighter low frequencies, so less organic, less weight. Actually can't recall any other single dynamic driver model, and doing comparisons with other models like make zero sense, like FIO FH3, it's more V-shaped with more treble and more bass. I don't know, BQ EYZ Spring, it's just another type of representation with more focused macro dynamics, with more energy and more emotions put in the tracks. The only other single dynamic driver model I've tested recently, it's Moondrop KXXS, and it's brighter, it's more linear and colder sounding. So it's time to summarize. I'm not sure actually, is that dual connectors a real deal? Will it be useful for someone? Maybe if you are a fan of cable rolling, it could be a good option for you. But anyway, it's nice to have something unusual on the market, both in terms of design, in terms of features, and in terms of sound. I think soon we'll see more reviews, because definitely more reviewers will get them. But I really like that ddHiFi releasing new products, and I really follow their new releases, and I really like them. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and have a nice day.